Let's do a quick breakdown of how the SpotOn collar performs in some key categories: build quality, setup, accuracy, correction system, battery life, and overall value. If only I had 6 fingers, right? And yes, I will be rating each of these on a scale from 1 to 5. If you're ready to try the SpotOn collar for yourself, there is a discount link in the description below that saves you some money and also supports the channel. So let's dive in. Let's start with the physical collar itself. SpotOn's build quality is impressive. The main band of the collar is made from rugged silicone, which is soft to the touch, but holds up well to tough play. The main housing, the brain of the collar, is made from a rigid plastic that feels extremely durable without also feeling super bulky. It doesn't creak or flex or just feel cheap like some of the other collars we've tested. There's a dual-feed GPS antenna embedded along the top of the collar, and it's intended to be pointed towards the sky as your dog runs around. And yes, that direction does make a difference, so remember that as you're putting the dog's collar on. Now, Poppy has run through fields and rain and snowdrifts and puddles and just about everything, and this collar has not missed a beat. The whole collar is fully waterproof, not just water-resistant, waterproof. I have hosed it off, dunked it in a lake, let it sit out to dry in the sun. The thing still works. Sizing is a bit of a mixed bag. It fits next between 12 and 18 inches in its medium size and works best for mid-sized dogs like Poppy here. If you have a smaller dog like a Chihuahua or a Yorkie, this is probably not going to be the best fit for you. And if you have a larger dog like a Mastiff, you're going to want to order a collar extender direct from SpotOn in order for it to fit your dog correctly. Final verdict: it's rugged, it's weatherproof, and it's built to last. It's one of the best collars that I have seen in terms of construction. Just make sure it fits your dog's neck before you buy. 4.5 out of 5. Let's talk about the setup process, because this is where I feel a lot of GPS collars start to lose people. With SpotOn, you have 2 options. You can either draw your boundary on a map within the app, or you can walk the perimeter of your property with your phone in hand, and it can track that boundary automatically. Every 5 feet, the collar will drop a pin on a map, so your boundary can become pretty surprisingly accurate. Now, let's say you have, some dense woods or a creek or something, and you don't want to have to walk through it. You can pause the tracking, go to the other side, and then restart the tracking, and it'll automatically connect the dots for you. The app is well designed and easy to navigate. You can switch between fence modes, activate tracking, or adjust the feedback levels, all from the app. It doesn't feel bloated or buggy like some of the others I've tested. Final verdict: the tech works, it's intuitive, and the setup process is much easier than most other wireless fences. 4.5 out of 5. Now, accuracy is the category in which SpotOn fully earns its price tag. SpotOn utilizes a dual-feed GPS system that connects to multiple satellites at once rather than the typical single-feed system. What that means for you is fewer dropouts, less signal drift, and better, more pinpoint accuracy in dense forests or near buildings. And this isn't just marketing fluff. I have tested this myself in dense Michigan forests and in open, wide fields, and even up north where there's no cell service, and it still works. And that's the kicker. The SpotOn Fence system doesn't require Wi-Fi or cell service in order to work. Once the boundaries are loaded onto the collar, they are stored on that collar and fully operational without any additional cell service required. That makes it, from my understanding, the only GPS fence system that works completely off the grid. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Every GPS collar has some degree of signal drift, usually around 10 feet. How SpotOn works through this is they create buffer zones around the boundaries. At 10 feet, your dog enters the alert zone. When they get within 5 feet of the boundary, they are in the warning zone. Then once they cross the boundary, they receive the correction. And just so we're clear, this isn't guesswork. This is a system that is built in place that's reflected in SpotOn's setup guides and diagrams. It is smart and it works. Final verdict: if you are worried about accuracy, don't be. This is the best that GPS containment gets in 2025. 5 out of 5. So how does SpotOn actually keep your dog within the boundary? Well, it is a 3-stage process. First, when your dog approaches a boundary, they receive an initial warning tone. It's not loud or scary, just meant to be a little pop of attention-grabbing noise. If they continue closer, they receive a prolonged, solid warning tone. If they then cross the boundary, they receive a correction. Now that correction can be either vibration or static or a combination of both, and you can adjust all of these settings within the app based on your dog's temperament. If your dog does break the boundary, the collar will stop its correction after about 30 seconds and then transition into real-time tracking mode. You'll get a notification on your app that the dog has broken the boundary, and you can see their real-time location as well. This offers a huge amount of peace of mind should your dog ever decide to go rogue. The only downside, training still does take work. You have to be consistent and follow along with the guides and videos that SpotOn provides in order to get your dog to the point where they can understand the audio tones and react accordingly. Obviously, it's not a set it and forget it system, but granted, none of these are. Final verdict, the alarm system is thoughtful and customizable, and the tracking backup gives you the confidence you need. There's obviously still the need to train, but all of the tools are there. 5 out of 5. Okay, so I'm just going to be straight with you up front. I'm going to be pretty critical when it comes to battery life on this thing, but the reality is, if you remember to charge it overnight, you will get a full day's worth of play out of it every single time. Also, it's not designed for your dog to wear literally all the time. It's a little bit bulkier than your average dog collar, and I expect most people are going to put it on their dog as they head outside, take it off and charge it when they come back in. So for most use cases, the battery life on this thing is more than satisfactory. The collar charges via a cradle that gets plugged into a little power brick. There is a USB cable that plugs into that power brick, so if you need to charge it with like your laptop or whatever, you technically could also do that, and it charges in about 1.5 to 2 hours. If you need more juice, SpotOn introduced a battery extender mode, which stretches the life of the collar up to 2 full days by lowering the GPS polling intervals. I've tested this myself and it works really well, especially on low activity days, or if you're going to be out camping and you're not going to have access to power to charge your collar. Final verdict, solid battery life, easy charging, has that extender mode if you need it, 4 out of 5. Now, let's talk about the big mean elephant in the room, price. As of this recording, the SpotOn collar costs $1,000. That's before you even get into an optional subscription, which gives you things like real-time tracking and a recall tone, which gets you an extra $10 a month. Now, that is entirely optional. You don't need that subscription, but it is still there if you want it, and that cost should be considered. All of the other GPS collars on the market require some sort of additional subscription to use just the basic functions of the collar, and that's anywhere from $10 on up per month. So depending on how long you plan to use the collar, it might end up being a better value over time. If you plan to use it more than 2 years, by year 3, that upfront cost will end up likely being less than what a lower cost collar would be after you factor in the mandatory subscription. There's also a 90-day money-back guarantee plus a 1-year warranty. The customer support is also responsive and helpful every time that I've needed to reach out, which I think is worth something as well. Final verdict, it's expensive. But if you plan on using it over a number of years and you've got it in your budget to go with the upfront costs, you're paying for versatility, safety, and peace of mind. 4.5 out of 5. So, who should actually buy this? If you've got a dog that needs room to roam, and you've got a larger property that's hard to fence, or your lifestyle consists of regular travel with your dog to a bunch of different areas, the SpotOn is the most complete GPS fence system out there. It's not perfect, but it's close, and it has the accuracy where it matters most. If you've got a smaller dog or a smaller yard, you can probably skip it. But if you're like me and you've ever chased your dog down a dirt road while screaming like a maniac, this collar might just change your life. Final verdict, 4.7 out of 5. It is the industry standard for a reason, but as I mentioned, always leaving room for improvement. Things can always get better. Oh, and don't forget, we have a discount link in the description below. Save yourself some money on the SpotOn collar if you decide to go for it. Also, we have different videos on this channel comparing SpotOn to other offerings like the Halo collar. So if you're deciding between some different options, take a look at those to see which one might be the best fit for you. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.